who you know. I don't give a who knows you. Look, nothing else is gonna happen with your
Is my vehicle gonna be towed?
Officer Padilla was very, very hostile, upset.
Absolute shock after Jacob Ramirez heard his car alarm from the third floor. Running down, he found 2 officers around his vehicle. SAPD tells us the 2 officers were there Thursday for a call of a suspicious vehicle.
I told them, no, the vehicle's mine.
The almost 3-minute video captures SAPD officer Eric Padilla cursing at Ramirez over and over. It starts peacefully.
I got a ticket already for the expired registration, and the reason why it's not driving is because my brakes aren't working right now.
Okay.
If the car was being operated on public roads, then I would say get me for expired registration.
You know,
But it's not
we don't need
being
to talk about the law.
Ramirez does attempt to explain himself.
Talking.
Everybody in the complex knows that that's my vehicle. I know everybody in this building.
I don't give a who you know. I don't give a who knows you.
Don't touch my car, though.
Don't talk to me like that.
He kept escalating the situation, and I just didn't feel safe. So something told me, earlier to just record, and I'm glad I did.
Ramirez says he just wanted answers, then the back and forth heated up.
Look, I'm telling you, back inside your apartment.
Okay.
Nothing's gonna happen to your car.
Okay.
Just get in your apartment, dude.
Can you please back up?
Okay, get back up inside your apartment, dog.
SAPD said it cannot comment on the situation at this time, but told us that Padilla's, quote, chain of command is aware of the incident and will investigate. The officer in this video has just over a year of service with SAPD.
If you feel threatened by, a civilian or a situation, try to diffuse the situation.
New Mexico State police officer is on administrative leave, accused of driving drunk and leaving the scene of a crash. Around 3 this afternoon, Rio Rancho police responded to reports of vehicle crashes and say the driver left the scene. Police say a deputy with Sandoval County found the vehicle and the driver, identified as State Police Officer Hugo Diaz-Amaya. He was taken into custody for leaving the scene of an accident, reckless driving, and
Right now, the
DWI.
family of 2 Minnesota teenagers is holding out hope after 2 brothers were hurt in a crash involving a state trooper. It happened last month along Highway 10 in Clear Lake, just northwest of town. The trooper was responding to a crash the teens were involved in and hit the brothers while they were outside their truck. One of the boys is still in critical condition more than 3 weeks later, but for the first time, we are hearing from his brother about what happened. Here's Joe McCoy.
The month of May for a high school senior means a time to celebrate. But Malacca high school senior Blake Mostad is not getting ready for prom and graduation. He is fighting to stay alive.
At this point, it's day 23 and he still has not been breathing on his own. He still is in critical condition.
On April 9th, Blake, his younger brother Braxton, who was speaking for the first time about what happened that night, and one of their friends were hit by a wrong-way driver on Highway 10 in Clear Lake. All 3 were not hurt in this crash. It's what happened afterwards that turned their world upside down.
I look back, I was like, oh, Blake, cops are here already. And he's like, okay. And I was like, oh, he's not slowing down. And I kind of don't remember anything after that.
A state trooper who was coming to check out the accident collided into the brothers who were standing outside their truck.
According to the Sherburne County Sheriff's Office, who is investigating this incident, State Trooper Ryan Mosier was driving in the left lane on Highway 10 when he came upon the crash that happened right here and was, quote, unable to avoid a collision.
I'm guessing 3 to 5 minutes.
That's how long Braxton says it took before the trooper arrived on scene.
Blake was in the left lane. I was in the left lane, like kind of in the shoulder. So I don't know how he couldn't have missed us.
Somebody that should be there to help and protect them is the one that caused the most damage.
The brother's older sister Bailey says Blake is recovering from his 15th surgery after suffering severe spine, brain, and leg injuries.
Yeah.
Braxton suffered a lacerated eye and torn ACL.
Our brother is the strongest kid we know. So he's been doing the best that he can, and we have faith in him.
Those final celebratory moments for a high school senior ripped away from the family in the blink of an eye.
As you know, we should be watching Blake at prom tomorrow at Grand March, and we won't be able to do that.
The state trooper is currently on paid administrative leave. In a statement, Minnesota State Patrol said in part, quote, "Our thoughts are with those affected and we recognize the profound impact this has on everyone involved." The
The Sherburne County Sheriff's Office says at this point the case has not been sent to the county's attorney's office for a review of any criminal charges.
To survive the first crash and then to get hurt in the second crash, I know the family's hopeful. Have there been any signs that Blake is doing any better?
So Blake currently has a trach in his throat, so he's still unable to speak. But the family does say that he's able to mouth words and kind of shake his head. And they actually said a few days ago that he mouthed "I love you" to them in the hospital.
Oh, goodness.
They're still holding out hope.
This is David DeWitt's mugshot. He's a commander at the Pottawatomie County Sheriff's Office. Sources say he got into a fight with an employee at Christie's Toy Box in OKC. We talked to Sheriff Mike Booth today. After the alleged assault, DeWitt arrested while driving in Norman. OKC police are handling the case. Officers there not giving interviews and say the report isn't ready. Booth says his office is handling the internal investigation.
I can't have anything that I'm going to be responsible for, or anybody else here, that's going to damage the reputation of this agency. Hey, take some time off. Go take a break. You know what we got to do here, and we'll do our end. I'll give you a call, and we'll go from there. He said, okay. He has done an outstanding and exceptional job, and a lot of people have an extreme amount of confidence in him.
Good morning. Welcome to the Bad Apple Report. It's 7:30 a.m. bright and early right here at home on the range. Thank you so much for being here today, folks. I really appreciate it. How about that flashback of DeWitt? Well, I got to tell you more about that flashback before I tell you what's going on with him today. But what happened there at that sex shop was, according to the police report, when he responded, he noticed that the victim, a store clerk, had blood on his face and his shirt. And the victim told the officer that DeWitt and a woman were walking in the store. And every time the woman wanted something, DeWitt started arguing with her in the report. And the victim said DeWitt told the woman that she didn't need the merchandise because the sex toy was bigger than him. That's right. DeWitt. I think he's a dimwit. That's just my opinion. DeWitt allegedly raised his hands multiple times like he was about to backhand the woman, according to the police report. And that's when the clerk intervened and asked DeWitt to calm down and that he should leave the store. The victim said that DeWitt responded by saying, "F you, I'm a cop." Okay, you guys are going to love where this is going. That's right. DeWitt's in the news again. This is just a flashback. Eventually, DeWitt and the woman made their way to the counter to make a purchase. As the items were placed on the counter, the victim asked the two if they needed batteries for the large battery-operated sex toy in the report. The victim told officers that DeWitt got angry and said he should have asked them if they needed batteries before testing the sex toy. Okay, what? The clerk said it was company policy and he could not change it. Anyways, according to the woman with DeWitt, DeWitt responded by asking, "What the F would you say to me, fat boy?" And then, quote, this is the clerk saying, "Dude, get the F out of my face." DeWitt is said to have responded by going behind the counter and punching the worker in the face. All right. And in my guesstimation, looking at DeWitt's eyes, he might have been inebriated big time. But he didn't get in any trouble at all. Okay. And in the end, this clerk, little intimidation perhaps. That's right. But police said when DeWitt left from behind the counter, he slung a clear bucket of suckers across the store in a two-tiered container with mints across the store. While DeWitt and the woman left the store, the clerk allegedly threw a boxed sex toy at DeWitt. The victim said DeWitt responded by stating, "Call the effing cops. I'm an officer of the law. Woo! And you don't effing assault me. I can have you arrested, jailed to where you never get out." Oh, police report states that moments after leaving the store, DeWitt was pulled over for speeding by a Norman police officer. This is where it gets good. Right, nothing happens to this guy. He was given a warning and was about to be let go until the Oklahoma State Trooper assisting the officer heard the vehicle description from a Christie's Toy Box incident matched the vehicle at the traffic stop. Oh, we're looking for an APB out on this deranged nitwit DeWitt. Police said troopers notified the Oklahoma State Police Department dispatch, and they searched. The subject from the vehicle incident was him. And then the OKCPD officers went to the location to take care of everything. They got their buddy. And DeWitt was taken into custody without incident. He was booked into the Cleveland County Jail. Fact is, he didn't get in any trouble. No charges were ever filed. Oh, and by the way, DeWitt is not just some low-paid knucklehead deputy. No, he was a commander, and he's also got, allegedly, I don't know if he still has this business, elite elite security, or whatever the hell it's called. He thinks he's elite. He's a super bad apple. Watch this.
Has been filed against a man who once starred in the reality show The Bounty Boys and wore a sheriff's deputy badge. He's now accused of assaulting his own mother by trying to suffocate and strangle her. The alleged incident happened last Monday at a home in Norman. 52-year-old David Dewitt was arrested on several charges, including felony domestic assault and battery by strangulation. Dewitt's mother says her son hit her and covered her nose and mouth so she couldn't breathe, threatening to kill her. Dewitt also had a warrant for a separate domestic assault from February. You might remember back in 2023, we reported that Dewitt got into an altercation with a clerk at a Christie's toy box. He was a Pottawatomie County Sheriff's commander at the time. Dewitt claimed he was acting in self-defense, and the clerk declined to press charges.
In court yesterday, a cybercrime expert revealed that one former officer took a photo of Nichols after the assault and shared it 11 times. The 3 defendants face several charges, including secondary murder and aggravated assault. They've all pleaded not guilty. An important note here, they were found guilty of federal obstruction of justice charges last year.
I walked into the room and I saw my son. I immediately went over to him and I fell out on him because my son was beaten to a pulp.
That's just a mother's worst moment. Why is it critical? Why is that testimony critical? And what did we hear about why the officers shared images of this?
I think her testimony was critical to show the jury just exactly how bad this beating was and how it affected the family. And I think it's unclear why he shared images of Nichols after he was beaten, but we know that he shared it at least 11 times and had conversations with 8 different people about it.
Crossing guard with the Calcasieu Parish Sheriff's Office has been fired after his arrest on sex charges. 73-year-old Olin Mott of Westlake was arrested yesterday following an investigation. He was booked into the Calcasieu Correctional Center and charged with 2 counts of sexual battery, along with 1 count of simple battery. Authorities said the incident did not involve a child, nor did it occur while he was on duty as a crossing guard. Mott has been terminated by Sheriff Stitch Guillory.
We have some wild breaking news. It says here a former law enforcement officer was arrested after armed bank robbery in Marion County. That is something you don't hear every day. Orlando, Florida, an Ocala woman was arrested Friday morning after police say she robbed a TD Bank branch at gunpoint and fled with more than $5,000 before being caught in minutes. Arrested within 11 minutes. What we know, Christina Gates Thagard, age 40, was taken into custody around 10:52 a.m., just 11 minutes after the reported robbery at the bank on Southeast 17th Street, according to the Ocala Police Department. Officers stopped her vehicle on Southwest College Road near the College of Central Florida and recovered the stolen cash, clothing, a medical glove, and other items believed to have been used in the robbery. Oh. Investigators said Thagard entered the bank wearing a hoodie, sunglasses, and medical mask. She handed the teller a note stating, "This is a robbery. I have a gun and I'll shoot if any alarms or die packs are enclosed. Woo! Fill this bag with at least $50,000. Big bills only. Wait 2 minutes to call police." Surveillance footage and physical evidence, including clothing. She had a lot of demands. She thought she was entitled to them doing just what she said because she's a cop. Former cop. Thagard initially denied involvement, claiming 2 acquaintances had borrowed her car and may have committed the robbery without her knowledge. However, detectives noted several physical similarities between her and her physical suspect on video, including unique fingernail patterns and clothing, not to mention her big old butt. Dig deeper. The Marion County Sheriff's Office confirmed Thagard is a former deputy. Due to her former Leo status, her mugshot is exempt for public release and is not available. Thagard was charged with robbery and a firearm and booked into the Marion County Jail without bond. And that is the story on that big butt former Leo. All right, let's move on with the show.
Neighbors are reeling after FBI agents raided the home of their neighbor, Border Patrol agent Scott Rocky, for possessing over 4,000 images of child pornography.
I thought he was my friend, and that is so disgusting what he did.
Neighbors are still trying to wrap their heads around the allegations against their neighbor, 57-year-old Scott Rocky, for possession of child pornography.
It was really a shock to see that there was FBI, across the street from our house.
They tell me it came as a complete shock to them, especially because Rocky and his family live about 20 feet away from the local school.
We're not exactly sure what they had, but they had a big red box, and they were bringing out bags of stuff and putting them into the vehicles.
Scott Rocky is a border protection officer and has lived in the neighborhood off McKinley and Centerline for decades. Neighbors Linda Lintz and John Cannon even remember giving glowing references to the agency when Rocky was being hired.
We gave him, a good recommendation. We didn't have any idea this was ever going on.
Rocky now accused of possessing over 4,000 images of children between the ages of 4 and 10.
We talk on the porch and help each other if something needed, like heavy to be lifted.
While in the neighborhood, we went to Scott Rocky's house to see if anyone at the home had anything to share on his behalf.
No comment.
We reached out to Border Patrol for comment. They sent back a statement saying, quote,
Okay, you guys, here's an interesting story. And no, it's not interesting because it's a macadamia nut with eyes. That's actually a cop. Still. But he's an APD officer who was arrested on a DWI charge, and his name is Jonathan Franco. Franco, the macadamia nut, was arrested at a DWI checkpoint on Sunday. Okay, knucklehead Franco. If only he had been watching YouTube videos, he'd know to just leave his window rolled up, look straight ahead and go, Fourth Amendment, Fourth Amendment. Might have worked. An Albuquerque police officer was arrested Sunday at a DWI checkpoint in northwest Albuquerque. According to court documents, Jonathan Franco, the macadamia nut, drove up to a DWI checkpoint at Rainbow Boulevard Northwest and Unser Boulevard Northwest with his daughter in the back seat of the vehicle. He was asked to take a field sobriety test. Court records show that Franco did not perform well on a sobriety test and was placed under arrest. Oh, he later submitted 2 breath samples, both of which tested above the legal limit of .08. In a statement, Chief Harold Medina said, we're not going to read that. He didn't say anything about firing him. Let's move on. The Bernalillo County Sheriff's Office was conducting the sobriety checkpoint. And then they're going to say a bunch of crap too, but we're not going to read it. Since April 26, BCSO has supervised, that's more crap we don't care about. Franco has been charged with driving while intoxicated with a minor in the vehicle. He was booked and released from the Metropolitan Detention Center, and a hearing has been scheduled for June 5th. And in the meantime, if you see cherries and berries behind you and you look in the rearview mirror and you see a macadamia nut behind the steering wheel, that's right, he's still on the job. Okay, let's move on with the show.
Prosecutors dropped all charges against Jerry Sims this week after one of the key witnesses in his 2019 trial recanted her testimony and made shocking allegations against the East Cleveland police chief. News 5's Remy Murray was there as Sims walked free today. She joins us now with more.
Rob, when we arrived at the Justice Center around 1, expecting Jerry Sims to be released between that time and 3, but it would be close to another 3 hours before Sims would meet his attorney, family, and friends just before 6 Thursday evening. Greeted with cheers and an instant hug. From one of Jerry Sims' daughters, it's clear Sims' family and attorney Kimberly Kendall Corral did not hold back their excitement to see Sims finally free once the state recently found he was unfairly convicted in an aggravated murder in 2019.
Well, this has been a very long journey, and today is a super big moment for celebration because it represents the end of an injustice, but it also represents the beginning of the journey to restoring justice.
News 5 first began following this case earlier in January when Corral filed a 43-page post-conviction petition to get a new trial for Sims. Corral claims Sims did not receive a fair process due to a romantic relationship she said took place between the state's key witness and then investigating detective, who is now East Cleveland's police chief, Ken Lundy.
This man has lost more than 8 years of his life, and he had so many people who love him and who needed him during that time. And it means a lot that we were able to vacate that wrongful conviction.
as Sims walks away from his 40.5 years to life in prison sentence.
Thanks to my lawyer right here. She the best. Gotta give it to she the best.
We reached out to the Cuyahoga County Prosecutor's Office, and they sent us a statement saying on Tuesday it was established that a key witness and a detective from the East Cleveland Police Department engaged in a romantic relationship before, during, and after the trial. The prosecutors say the relationship was unknown to them and trial prosecutors, so they say the state conceded that a constitutional violation occurred at trial. They also say a retrial is not possible at this time due to existing evidence.
We were shocked and surprised in the best of ways when the county joined us in asking to have his murder conviction, his wrongful murder conviction vacated.
We reached out to Chief Ken Lundy, but he has yet to respond back to our request. In the meantime, the prosecutor's office says they remain frustrated at the corruption and lack of professionalism that continues to be exhibited by many in the East Cleveland Police Department.
Someone needs to be held accountable. But today we're focused on celebrating just an end to his wrongful incarceration.
Sims plans to celebrate by eating some good soul food and spending time with his daughter. For News 5, I'm Remy Murray reporting.
Looks like we made it to the end of another Bad Apple Report. You're awesome for being here. I really do appreciate you. I hope you all have a great day. I'm going to whip up another batch of bad apples for you, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. bright and early.